Welcome, everybody. Good morning. Marcus Conti reporting. How are you? How are you, man? How are you? You made it, man. Holy smokes. You made it to the to through Christmas. You made it through Christmas. Give yourselves a round of applause. Applause yourself for making it through this very tumultuous season. But isn't it always tumultuous? Isn't it always bumpy? Isn't it always right now? I don't know. Maybe. Isn't it always right now, man? There is no later. There is no tomorrow. There is no next year. So we'll review some of current events. Current events are fascinating today. Fascinating stuff we got going on here. Oh my God, there is still perpetual war. Perpetual war. Russians and Americans. There is massive, unequivocal, unisolated censorship in our country that we still are dealing with. The revelations of 2022 were massive censorship from our large technological organizations, namely Twitter, and we find and we now know, but not quite as extensively do we know just how much the other large technology companies have been censoring as well. And censorship is a big problem. Censorship is not just because, Marcus Conti is pissed off that he gets censored. That's not the reason. The reason is that censorship in itself is a toxic, nasty, unnecessary, anti-democratic, counterintuitive process of limiting one person's speech and enhancing another person's speech because for some reason you support that speech or don't support that speech, or you view someone else's speech as dangerous to the masses, and therefore it's breaking our rules, so we must make it go away. These types of things are extremely toxic and in my view, causing a lot of the other things too. Foundation of a free democracy, a free people, is the ability to speak freely, so that we could have a discourse and move the ball forward. But that does not seem to be happening. Instead, larceny. We used to call it petty larceny or grand larceny. Now it's just you walk into a store with your thugs, with your brothers in arms, and you go into an art dealer, and you rip off the art off the wall, and wait for the door to open and run out and say, "Fuck you! This shit is mine. This shit's mine." And massive larceny, massive violence, upticks in violence. I shouldn't say massive, but almost 100%, 50 to 100% upticks in violence and larceny in our cities. No, I think that's a problem. I grew up in New York City, and I know that there is violence and there is thievery. But before I left, right before the pandemic, most of it was under control, meaning that you could be reasonably sure if you were walking around the streets of New York City or taking a subway that you wouldn't get pushed in front of the subway or robbed or attempted to be robbed right on the street out in broad daylight, or you were a shop owner, and you could be reasonably sure that if someone came in and ripped off your store, that the police would be there moments later and apprehend the bastards that did it. But all those systems seem to be falling down. Also, education in our country, right? We think of education as higher education. Stanford, NYU, Columbia, whatever, Rutgers, whatever big university you can think of, Yale, Harvard. We once thought of those places as places of higher education. Now, I still value, this is what I value. I value my college education when I got it back in the 80s. For the simple reason that there was a promotion of expanding one's mind, expanding one's knowledge base. a merit-based system of if you do well, you will prevail. If you do well, we'll even, if you do well in high school, we'll let you into our college. If you do well in our college, we'll promote you to somebody, right? You'll have some kind of credibility. But those things are falling down, and it brings into question, is higher education, as we know it, I use the phrase lightly, higher education, is it something that is in a free fall? Do we really need it? Does somebody really, really need to spend $200,000 on a 4-year liberal arts degree at a foofy college? What does it qualify you to be? Arguably, it puts you in the ring with some very wealthy kids that have very wealthy parents and such. And it might be, your education might be buying you some sort of, influence, I guess. But is that really the point of education, or was it ever? Right? Is higher education just something that you do to advance your own agenda? Or is it something that allows you to expand your perception of what is actually happening in the world, and then from that enrich yourself? What is the point of higher education? It seems to be undefinable at this point, and I don't know. I think unnecessary. If I was, if I had 2 college-age kids and I had a lot of money to send them to a college, I don't know if I would encourage it at all. I would say this to the kid. I would say, the most important thing you can do in those 4 years is have yourself a good time, right? Enjoy yourself, right? Because there's no other point in it. There's no other point to it. Because you could educate yourself. Look, anybody online today, if you wanted to educate yourself on a certain topic, like if you wanted to be a computer programmer, you could read books, watch videos, you could, attend seminars, you could join a large corporation that does that sort of thing, and they'll teach you. Why do you need this college to teach you this kind of... So we'll look at that deal. What's up, everybody? Marcus Conte reporting. Thank you. Welcome, FBI, CIA, DHS, censorship bots. We welcome you to the program. We trust that you will be truthful, and we will try to educate you on what human beings really think and feel. And we'll try to learn from you and what you are here to do. We know that you're real. Hello, FBI. Hello. We know that you're real. We know that you watch. We know that you must watch. That you've been assigned to watch, and we sympathize. I sympathize with the job that you have in front of you to decide what is allowed to be said and what is not. What is on the list of things that are not allowed to be said? And we know the reason, of course, that you have to do it. You can't let these people get out of control, man. You can't let these people have their own minds, because when they're allowed to think on their own too long, they might make decisions that vary and differ from the ones that they're supposed to have. So we understand the dilemma there, and we will try our best to allow you to be here. So thank you, man. Do I sound? I don't know. I just had an afterthought. Oh, where's my thumbnail? I forgot to put my thumbnail. Here's my thumbnail. Where is my thumbnail? There it is. There's my thumbnail for today. Oh my God. Steal, cheat, bomb, lie. It's all a conspiracy, right? This is our world right here. We have online massive censorship to quiet you down and put you in line and stop speaking so that we can, advance the policy already. We have open stealing, open ripping people off in cities all over the country, mostly low-end, very, very low-profile, People out of jail coming and stealing, right? Just got out of jail. Where are you going? Oh, I'm going to Soho to steal and make some money. We have nations bombing one another, right? Putin has said openly that if the United States, if and when the United States installs their Patriot missile systems defense system in the Ukraine, Russia has confirmed that they will blow it up. So World War III continues. What did you think Russia was going to do when you install these advanced military defense systems in a neighboring country with a primary purpose of using those military weapons against Russia? What did you think Russia was going to do? See the escalation of war? America provides Ukraine with arms. Russia says, oh yeah, and they blow up those arms and, I don't know, kill a couple of thousand people while they're doing it, maybe more. The perpetual war, proxy war continues. So, good morning, everybody in the chat. Welcome. Thomas Robinson is here. Jim Gerard, my brother, XO Thorn OX is here. How are you, man? David Brown. Cassafilly Camden in my home state of Pennsylvania. And yes, it is chilly. It's 14 degrees. 14 degrees here in northeast Pennsylvania. Cold and shivery and such. Chris Milk is here. Chris, what's up, Chris? Johnny Half. Skrilla Crow. Ken Zora. Welcome, everybody. Welcome from all parts of the globe. We're here from everywhere. And, so I do hope that you had a pleasant Christmas. Sometimes that can be challenging with, circumstances. People come into Christmas with a preconceived notion of what it's supposed to be and what's supposed to happen, especially involving family. And sometimes it is what it is, right? You can't wish. Hey, look, I would, in complete honesty, if I could have 5 more minutes with Batman, right? Just 5 more minutes to hug Batman alive and say, Batman, I love you. Batman, we'll forever be together. If I could have 5 more minutes that I knew that, and I did say that to him when he was passing, but to have 5 more minutes of Batman in the sun, I would love to have that, but it's just not possible. It's sorrow and so you let go of it. You let go of it and say, okay, well, what's happening on this Christmas? What is the redeemable quality of this holiday? So anyway, thank you for joining me. Thank you for that for enduring that very introverted, I guess, opening monologue. So thank you for joining me. I got a website. Here it is, marcusconti.com. Every morning at 9 a.m. we are live, and we have been for a very long time, one of the longest running live presentations on YouTube and elsewhere. And we've sustained many attacks over the years, but we're still here. And if we're not here in the location that you're at right now live, we'll be somewhere else, probably on DLive or Rumble or Odyssey or BitChute or Facebook or Twitter or Getter. Just check the link every morning at 9 a.m. If I'm not here, there's a reason. Just come here and you'll find out where I am. And we must until the censorship simmers down, I guess. That's all we got. So I have a tip jar and a Patreon link, but most importantly, the number one thing you can do is be here and be vocal and be present for your life, and spread the word that we're here. So let's start here. Ding! Oh my God! Look at this. So Manhattan, a place that I love, I love Manhattan. Let me smoke while smoke. People get nervous with a timely pause. Why isn't he talking? He's smoking. Why isn't he nonstop talking? Right? That's what I come here for. I don't come here for fucking silence, man. Keep talking, Conti. Keep your fucking lips yapping. That's what mine says. What's the second there's a pause, right? Watch, I'll show you. The second I pause, you'll see a tendency to say, I got something else to do. Watch, 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 watch. Count in your head how long it takes you before you say, I'm going somewhere else, man. This is fucking too slow for me. Ah, timely pause, timely pause. See, the winners stay. The people that are winning stay. So anyway, Manhattan's trendiest neighborhoods terrorized by thieves. Now, is that a new trend? Well, the tick up in prevalence of being terrorized by thieves is definitely ticking up. No doubt about it. So let's look at the statistics. They're very young, attractive, artsy entrepreneur somewhere in, I don't know, Brooklyn or Soho. And she's pissed off, man. People coming into her store ripping off the art. You know what they're doing now? They go into the art store and they look on the wall. And if you're like supporting a Picasso or a fucking Renoir or whoever, some expense, or a Basquiat or even a local artist that's worth a couple of $1,000, you got your picture on the wall, they'll fucking steal that shit too, man. These are educated thieves. They're like, yo, man, yo, my nigga, come here, man. Take this shit. You see that shit, that drawing, that fucking piece of shit art on the wall, man? That shit is worth fucking $6,000, man. That shit's worth $6,000, man. So here's the play, man. You ready? So I'm gonna go in. I'll keep the bitch occupied. And I'll grab the painting. I'll grab that fucking piece of shit art, and you hold the door open, and we'll run the Flacco. We'll run down the Flacco, and we'll get ourselves some shit. We'll hock that shit. We'll be drinking Hennessy and smoking reef by the end of the hour. That's what's going on, man. It's open larceny, right? Open larceny in our cities. Why is it? Well, because if you can't prosecute somebody because they're all black, and that's racism. You can't keep people in jail without bail, because that's a violation of our constitutional rights, which I do believe. I think that bail reform is a good thing, and was a good thing. I just think it tilted in the wrong direction. Right? When someone, I don't know. I mean, look, there's either complete innocence till proven guilty, right? And then you have lawlessness. You have the inability of police to hold anybody until a trial, which is really I don't know if that's even possible, because of the expense and unless you start to streamline court proceedings, which you don't want to do. I don't know. I don't know. But let's find out the facts, and then we'll decide later. Manhattan's trendiest tourist-packed neighborhoods have become increasingly terrorized by brazen thieves who are leaving shop workers stymied and scared. That shit is crazy. There's one incident where a guy says, I don't give a fuck, man. I got a machete. Right? A store owner. Right? He's getting robbed, and there's no consequence to the person that's doing the robbing. So he says, oh, well, I'll just take out a machete and I'll stab the guy next time it happens. Right? So now you got murder. You've got the bail reform that was supposed to protect everybody and be a civil service is now creating brazen criminals roaming around the street, ripping everybody off, and shop owners willing to kill them if they do it to their store. If you rob my store, I will kill you. That's where we're going right now. So, grand larceny. You see the chain reaction, right? You're putting the violence and the crime, you're taking it out of the jails and you're putting it into high-end boutiques in Manhattan, a lawless place where these shops now must hire security to prevent themselves from getting ripped off so they could stay in business and feed their own self for a change. Right? Grand larceny or thefts of $1,000 or more have soared up to over 60% in New York City precincts. 60% rise in grand larceny, right? The definition in New York is anything over $1,000, grand larceny, as opposed to anything less than $1,000, which is petty larceny, right? And now I think of $900 or $1,000 in goods as pretty good larceny, right? That's a lot. You could steal $900 worth of shit in a black garbage bag, run out the door, and that's only petty larceny. You could come back and do it again, and that's still only petty larceny. You could do it 5 times, and there's no bail. There's no you'll go to court. You'll go into the system, and you'll be right back out on the street looking at some petty larceny case. 6 months or a year from now, that'll ultimately result in time served. So what's the consequence? Criminals know, if I get caught, I'll be in the system for 7 hours, 10 hours, maybe. Smart criminals won't steal during the weekend because they know that that's a longer lockup. But if you steal on a Monday, you'll almost, certainly be out on Tuesday. If you steal on Wednesday, you'll almost certainly be out on Thursday. But if you steal on Friday, you'll be in there all the way till Monday. So the bulk of the crime, if you really look at it, will happen during the week. So there's a true belief out there among criminals that they're going to get away with it, said Jim Jordan, whose Rothman's men's clothing store in Gramercy Park was once robbed twice in a week by the same gang. The grand larceny crisis is so bad that Eric Adams had a summit that didn't work out so well. Grand larcenies have shot up 27% citywide. So 27% citywide, but 60% in certain districts where the high-end shops are. So massive spike mostly in Times Square, Grand Central Station, Madison Square Garden area. 2,287 instances this year versus almost half that, 1,387 instances in 2021. He said, so one instance, a guy comes in, he says, let me see that ring. Let me see those glasses. And then once the door opens, he bolts out with a very expensive ring and the glasses. Right? It's tricky. Right? Boutiques are now in a situation where you can't even look at the merchandise. You can't look at an expensive ring and examine it because they think you're a thief. Or maybe they'll put an armed guard behind you. Maybe that's the solution. Have an armed guard behind someone when they're looking at the expensive merchandise, right? So that if they decide to run, you shoot them or you stab them with your machete. Right? It's like one guy said. Right? So massive uptick. People in Boston, from New York to Boston, are saying it's getting worse. It's getting worse. There's a one line that says, one line where some guy, some criminal says, dude, you can't steal that. Hey, you can't steal that. And the criminal said, yes, I can. The thief replied, what the fuck, dude? You can't take that. Right? This is the kind of dialogue that's going on in the store. What's the line about? Some guy had a fucking. Here's another guy, another criminal. That's where the criminals. That's the face of the criminal. It's a 20-something-year-old black male on a bicycle on one of these very, very fast track bikes. He comes out the door. He jumps on his track bike, and you can't catch him, man. It's fucking hard to catch. He's hard to catch. Hard to catch. There's one line in there that says a guy was saying, I'm not going to take it anymore. I'm going to take out my machete and stab the motherfucker if he tries to, rip me off anymore. So crime definitely spiking up. Dangerous because you know what's going to happen if you're walking through Soho and two hoods come running out the door with a stolen painting, and you happen to get in the way. They're going to run you over. Or you have a car and you're parked and you're smoking and you're sitting there with your car running. They're going to jump in your car and say, "Get the fuck out, motherfucker! Get out of the car, Whitey. We're taking your car. Get out of the car." Right? And you're standing on the street, and some crazy ass. You hear this? And some crazy motherfucker is holding a knife to your throat, saying, "Get out of the car, man! Get out of the car! Get out of the car! We're taking your car, motherfucker! And there's nothing you're gonna do about it because it's only petty larceny because your car's a piece of shit, and we need to get away." Welcome to the new year. Welcome. Am I exaggerating? Is Conti exaggerating? I don't think so. I think I'm calling it as I see it. 60% spike in grand larceny is significant. Let's talk about woke university implosion. Is college education worth it anymore? Should anybody save their money and or rack up massive debt to get a piece of paper that says you completed our program? Does it have any value anymore? Well, I would say that it'll always have a value for rich people because they care more about what I said in my opening statement is that rich people care that their kids are having a good time and meeting other rich kids. That's really what they care about because that kid getting out of college, he already has the connections in place. A wealthy kid's going to go to work for one of his parents' wealthy friends or his family itself. They don't really need that kind of, advancement per se, right? But the collapse in our education system seems to be more insidious. It seems to have something to do with this diversity and inclusion theme that seems to be rampant not only in colleges but also in corporations, where they're leaning more on skin color, gender, national origin rather than merit and grades and such. Right? So it doesn't matter what you got on your fucking SATs. We don't care about that anymore. We care about what color you are and such. So I feel like a time traveler where I came from a different time and I was dropped down. I pushed the wrong button and I ended up in this time where the whole world is upside down, where college doesn't matter, where the law for law-abiding citizens and merchants doesn't matter anymore, that war is perpetual and get used to it, right? That's what I feel like sometimes, I feel like that. So gradually and suddenly, higher education is imploding, according to this article, and I agree. During the 1990s cultural wars, universities were warned that their chronic tuition hikes above the rate of inflation were unstable. Now, why is the price of education gone up so much? Well, there's a theory in our system of government that says higher education equals higher opportunity. Right? That's why government supports these universities of higher education. So since they support it, they know that the money is never going to stop flowing. So they just raise the cost of a college education. Now, there's one piece in here that says that one university has a higher cost of administrative fees than anything else. That almost, look at this statistic. Stanford University recently enrolled 16,900 undergraduate students, but listed 15,750 administrative staff positions. Almost a 1-to-1 ratio of administrative staff to undergraduate students. 1-to-1. Right? Do we really need that much of diversity, equity, and inclusion staff at a college to make it work? Shouldn't we just get rid of all that shit? Shouldn't we just have, if you want to go to college, well, how smart are you? Is it worth the effort? Is it worth the money investment? Right? For whatever you're learning, maybe it's trade, maybe it's something else. But do we really need these diversity and equity and inclusion nonsenses? Are universities is America really a racist place? No, it's really not. Unequivocally not. Again, the radicalization of America it falls into the category of 5% far left, 5% far right. The other 90% of the people have no idea what you're talking about. When you call 90% of the people in America racist and supremacist or non-sympathetic to minority, you're incredibly wrong. When you call, racism is mostly a theory, for the most part, right? And 90% of the population doesn't really is not really full of it. It's a kind of a misconception. Johnny Heff says, go to a trade school. Yeah, I believe that. Yeah, why not? Teach things that are valuable to people, right? I still think there's a value. Look, higher education is a place where a bright young person has the opportunity to expand his ability to learn, his ability to study, his ability to concentrate, his ability to discipline himself to understand, conflicting, ideas, right? There is an opportunity there. But when that opportunity is taken away and replaced by, what color are you? Oh, you're black, you're going to go far. Or you're white man, you're going to be held back because that's the nature of what we're doing, really. Then I don't think there's any value to it. So anyway, there you go. Will we, as educated, thinking, caring adults in this year of 2022, the ending of 2022, will we see in our lifetime the end of Ivy League? Or this notion of you must have a higher education to be considered valid in the workforce? Do you really need a fucking master's degree, an MBA from Wharton Business School to go into business? I would say that that's the exact wrong direction to go if you want to be in business. And evidence is look at the CEOs of the most successful CEOs in our world. A lot of them are not highly Ivy League educated. I don't think Elon Musk made it out of high school. Bill Gates dropped out after the first semester. So anyway, man. So universities imploding, and also war is growing. Why don't you? Why bother? Why bother going to college? Why don't you just enroll in the military, and then raise your hand in the first week and say, I would like to be part of the CIA and the FBI. I know they're hiring, I just don't know how. Count me in, right? And you'll go down that avenue of CIA, FBI, and you'll be part of the government's machine, right? And why waste your money and your time at a college? Just join the military and take their 4-year education and parlay it into the CIA, right? And FBI, and you'll be part of the machine, right? You'll be on the right side of history. So anyway, and you'll certainly be safe, right? So the United States just approved a $700 billion defense bill, and in that bill was $50 billion for Ukraine to buy from our military industrial complex companies like Raytheon and Lockheed Martin and Boeing to buy Patriot missile defense systems and plant it in Ukraine and shoot it at the dirty Russians. Right? So what is the response out of Russia? Putin says 100% sure U.S. supplied Patriot system will be destroyed in Ukraine. What else is he going to do? What else did you expect the leader of Russia to do when you give an adversary, someone in a neighboring country, Ukraine, $50 billion for one fucking missile defense system to blow them up, to take that missile defense system and shoot it at Russia and defend yourself, quote, defend yourself from Russia, right? What did you expect Russia to do? Huh? What did you think that they would do? Walk away? No. They say unequivocally, we will destroy it. So Putin's now on record as saying it. He said there's a 100% certainty that Russian forces will eradicate them when they appear inside Ukraine. Of course we'll take them out, says Putin. 100%. He emphasized in an interview with Russian television on Sunday. So confirmed. Your aggression creates more aggression, America. You are one person. If one person dies because of Russia's retaliation to Ukraine's missile defense system, Patriot system, defense system in Ukraine, if one person dies when Russia blows it the fuck up, or Ukraine decides to shoot it at Russia, if even one person dies, who caused the problem? Who caused that specific problem? The people who sponsored it, America. We sponsor the system. Russia says we're going to blow it up. Ukraine uses it. Russia blows it up. 10,000 people die. They'll start showing the pictures of the schools that Russia blew up, right? The old age homes, the hospitals that Russia blew up because Ukraine decided to defend themselves with a missile defense system that we gave them, and Russia flattened it and accidentally killed a bunch of kids in a neighboring school. And the propaganda continues. Solution? Don't fucking support these proxy wars. Don't do it. There's no threat to you. Right? Less people die when you stay out of it. Right? De-escalate the violence. That's all that matters. Less violence, less war, and you have an opportunity to diplomatically fix it. If it's even possible anymore. But anyway, it always is possible. When you put your arms down, when you lay down your arms, not necessarily lay them down, but don't shoot them at anybody. And don't give them to other people to shoot. Possess your arms, that's fine. Have your arms, and use it as defense. That's acceptable. Right? So while that's going on, I suspect a little bit of shenanigans right here. It's just my belief in what's happening. 3 power stations attacked in the state of Washington on Christmas Day. Right? Bullet holes being found in power stations in America. Who's doing it? Who is sabotaging the power stations in America? Now, I know what government will say. They'll say, oh, that's the Russians. See, the Russians want to take away your power and make you cold for the winter, right? But without any evidence. How the fuck could Russians, right? Russian fucking people, right? Know the reach of America. Know the might of America. There is no way that Russians would get into this country and execute such an attack on American power grids right out in the open without our people knowing it, right? Impossible. So you have to rule that option out. Who's doing it? Of course it's domestic terrorists. Look, Antifa, should I roll the tape back in Washington State? Antifa is already on the record saying the anarchy it's not that the anarchy is going to start someday. It's not what type of anarchy is going to start. It's a matter of when, right? It's already happening. Antifa, or for lack of a better term, the people who got fucked over in 2016, the Bernie Sanders tried and true, if you will, the people who were sitting in the DNC who got kicked out, those leaders, young, bright Americans who wanted a free and fair election, who got fucked by the DNC and the Democratic Party and the FBI and the CIA and such. That's who Antifa is. They told you that chaos is coming. It's coming, right? It's unstoppable. They said this is what happens next. Do you remember when the young people in 2016 and 17 said it to you? You remember when they were wearing their masks when you didn't have to wear one? And they were burning fucking the cities all across America? Hundreds of rallies of burnings and breakings and smashings. Did you think that they were kidding? Did you think that they were making it up? Did you think that the fires in California and Washington State and Oregon, the fires where there were accelerants found all over those states, packs of fireworks and packages of fireworks going off in dry areas to deliberately start fires in wealthy areas that would wipe out fucking rich people's homes? You think that that was an accident? Do you think that that was isolated? There was no consequence to it. This was American democracy. This was just young people speaking up, right? Which it is. But what happens in situations like this, when 3 power stations are attacked by those people, government will say it's Russia, right? When patriots show up on the steps of Congress to speak out about election, suppression in our country, well, that's domestic terrorism. We got to stop that. We can't have Americans, fucking speaking out about elections. But let them burn Washington State. Let them shoot bullets into the fucking power grid, because that we can control. So anyway, so there you go, man. So I'm almost out of breath. And look, on this channel, I don't want to, keep echoing it, but I did tell you that at some point, the Twitter files that we learned about suppression of elections in our country is not an isolated situation. It didn't just happen at Twitter. There weren't 80 CIA agents working at Twitter, but isolated, just Twitter, and not Facebook, and not the YouTube, and not all the other social media platforms. It didn't happen in isolation. It's here, right now, happening on various platforms. Twitter got exposed because a generous billionaire, got in there and stopped it, aka Elon Musk, and fired all those guys. But revelations about Twitter intel ties raise questions about big tech on other sites. Is it possible that it's not happening at Google? Well, the evidence supports that it is happening. Reporters like this one right here has been banned just 3 times in 1 year, always before, like November 6th, 2 weeks before November 6th, Conti silenced. Not allowed to speak. Not allowed to speak before the elections. You're a fucking hack and a hazard and a cyber bully and a threat. Shut him up. How many thousands of people got silenced before the election? Or any election? How many thousands of people are going to get silenced before the next election? I would say many. I probably won't be here. I won't be allowed to speak. I speak too openly. I speak too freely. So the censorship is real at YouTube, at Amazon, at Facebook, and at Twitter. No doubt about it. Google is already on the record saying that they have these types of bots that weed out conflicting ideas. So Twitter files have provided stunning confirmation of a deep state big tech conspiracy to censor ideas and individuals deemed harmful to their shared ends, from protecting Joe Biden's candidacy for president. I'm stuttering right now. For president, to draconian COVID-19 lockdowns. Right, all of these censorship activity is all done under the pretext of national security or public health. Right, the bottom line is this. I'll end it right here. The bottom line is this. Where we have the Twitter files? Where is the brave souls at Google? Right? Instead of deleting the files and running scared, reveal it to the public so that we can stop this already. Yeah. Your market capitalization might get hit a little bit, but Google's very powerful. Twitter's very powerful and intuitive. They'll realign, right? You got to get the hacks out. You got to get government out of your pocket. When you get government out of your pocket, you'll have a new freedom and a new birth of democracy and growth. Until you get rid of the hacks, you're just going to keep spiraling down the toilet, like the cities of America being robbed. Right? So let's talk about this. Markets are open, man. Oh my God. So there was no Santa Claus rally, and at this moment, are the markets even open today? Are we open? Is the market open? No Santa Claus rally in sight. Is the market open right now? I don't know. Are stock markets open today? I'm asking Google. Are stock markets open today? Oh, shit. Are stock markets open today? Are stock markets open? That doesn't work. My audio doesn't work. Are stock markets open today? Are stock markets open today? New York stock market is open Monday. Is it? Oh, yeah, it's open. All right. So why isn't it flicking? Are stock markets open today? How come the stock market isn't flickering back and forth like it should? It's 9:50. What's happening? What's happening? They froze the stock market. The stock market is frozen. Oh, no. I don't know why that's not ticking back and forth, but it should be. It definitely should be. I'm going to pass on that. I don't have the data. Unless my numbers are flashing, I'm not sure that the market is even working. Market closed. Market says, somebody said market closed. 26th. Boxing Day. Okay, so today is the holiday. I apologize. All right, so it took me 5 minutes of investigative journalism to figure out that the stock market is officially closed. Thank you, Pundit74, for pointing that out. Boxing Day. All right, it's Boxing Day. Right? So thank you all for joining me. I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys being here, and I hope you're not here for my sake. I hope you're here for your own sake. And yeah, New Year's on the horizon, man. New Year's on the horizon. Marcus Conte reporting.